June is all about Sonic Frontiers. Say what you want about the marketing for it, we can all agree this weird tactic has got everyone non-stop talking about the game. Even people that aren't even Sonic YouTubers, I swear, are talking about it. Personally, I'm still 50-50 with it. It looks fine but unpolished. The game was supposed to release last year, but was delayed for quality control. If that's true, I didn't even want to know what it was looking like a year ago. The pop-in, the weird animations, I will keep my faith that it will all be fixed. But personally, if the game is genuinely fun to play, then I don't give a shit about how ugly it looks. Look at Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Those games look like pure ass, and yet the gameplay is fine. Also, I'm gassed for the story, but I'll talk about that in another video, because this one is for one game. Sonic and the Black Knight, my first 3D Sonic game. I got into the franchise a lot later than most people. This game isn't my favourite, but that doesn't mean I don't fucking love it. It was released in 2009, only for the Wii for the obvious reason. The sword gameplay was used by swinging a Wii remote. I recently played through the entire game again on Twitch, and I still love it. In fact, I have a lot more appreciation for it from playing on Dolphin Emulator, because having buttons to use the sword combat is surprisingly a lot more fun than you'd think. Like, if you thought this game was only playable using a Wii remote to pretend it was a sword, you're wrong. This game takes place in the stories of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. This wizard called Melina, the granddaughter of Merlin, who's evil because of the scabbard of Excalibur that makes him immortal, but also makes him a little bit of a dickhead. Melina summons Sonic to this world, and they both get away. This CG isn't the Unleashed intro, but still an incredible opening. The graphics are phenomenal, the voice acting is perfect. You'd look at this game and then you'd look at Forces and you'd never guess that they are the same game franchise. This game was part of the so-called storybook series. I never actually knew that's what they called these story games, but I'd hardly say it's a series because there was only 2 games from it. The other one was Secret Ring. Let's just say Secret Rings is definitely a lot worse than Black Knight, but maybe if Secret Ring didn't come first, Black Knight would have had a lot more issues. And that doesn't mean Black Knight has no issues. It's far from a perfect game, but for what this game is, it's enough to be mindlessly fun for me. Cutscenes are in this storybook format where characters are slowly animated, and even then the voice acting is one of the best in the entire series. In fact, these scenes even have a lot of action. I love the presentation of this game.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I have no master, except the wind that blows free.
Very well, Sonic, Knight of the Wind, prepare for battle!
Bring it on!
One issue Secret Rings had was the game starts with so many tutorials. It is fucking jarring. Especially if you want to play through the entire game again, you got to go through all the fucking tutorials. One for jumping, steering left and right, moving backwards, which was awful control in that game, and homing attacking. And then any move you unlock later on, you can do an optional tutorial on it. This game does it much better though, and that's because the control is a lot better. One thing Secret Rings did was make Sonic have worse controls at the start, but include RPG elements where you could upgrade him. So having good ground control and shit like that, that was something you had to unlock, which is stupid. And something I'm a little worried about for Frontiers. Like, we've had the boost gameplay for a long time, and to be honest, I'm always surprised how they fuck it up with Forces or with colors, because they did it perfectly the first time in Unleashed minus the drift. Black Knight starts with 4 tutorials, but the game doesn't pause to tell you what to do. Meaning, if you played this game already and you want to do another playthrough again, you can just speed through the first 4 levels. It doesn't feel slow as shit. First 2 missions about moving and swinging your sword. After that, you get the sacred sword named Caliburn, and you have to fight King Arthur with it, which introduces how to parry in boss fights, and then one more with some mid-air sword combat. Apart from the Soul Surge, you'll master the control of Sonic in these stages alone. This game uses the Wii remote and the nunchuck, giving you more or less full control on Sonic, which is perfect. Secret Rings, he moved automatically, and you had to steer him left and right and tilt the Wii remote back to move backwards, but when trying to do that, 9 times out of 10, you'd be fighting against the game that's trying to move you forward. Having the left stick to move makes life a lot easier, but all of Sonic's levels are still set on a path that is scripted. You can't do anything to break that. So realistically, all you're doing is still moving left and right while holding the stick forward, but enemies spawn in massive hordes, so if you couldn't stop and jump backwards as perfectly as you can in this game, the swordplay would be dog shit. Sonic has a set swing animation. It doesn't matter what way you're swinging the remote. All that matters is you do that as an input. So replacing that with a button takes nothing away from the gameplay, because you could just move the remote slightly and the game would still play the same as if you were actually swinging like you had a sword in your hand. If they tried to make it feel like you did have a sword in your hand, that was clearly a fucking fail. But if you want to act like the remote is a sword, you can. It just means Sonic may slash in the air randomly when you don't expect it. When swinging, Sonic slows down a little bit, but it's not to the point where you're not moving. But by far the best way to plow through enemies is the spin slash. Sonic will move through the air and lock onto enemies, slashing through them. This will never not be satisfying. Just fucking look at it. The speed of the combat is what impresses me the most here, as this game may not be the fastest, but you definitely feel Sonic's trademark sense of speed. As I said, the Soul Surge is a feature used for precision slashes, essentially acting as a homing attack, and when no enemy is about, you can use it on the ground and activate Speed Break, which is basically the boost, except it's more automated and will stop when you see more enemies, then it's going to start locking onto them so you can do the precision slash. And if you time it right, you'll get the perfect slash where the bar will not decrease, so it'll make the thing last a lot longer, and you get this super satisfying sound. Sonic has a homing attack, it just doesn't do damage. Instead, he'll bounce off the enemy and get into the position to do the spin slash. Pretty much the best way to play is homing attack and slash through. With the levels, they're all pretty much a straight line, and Sonic is set on a scripted path that you can't change. But because the sword is the main gameplay here, I don't think this matters too much. Realistically, the setting here is more important, although I will say this, the setting and the graphics definitely are not the best. But I think this game has the most different and unique settings a Sonic game has seen, and if I'm wrong, then let me know. The bosses in this game are alright. I count the dragons as bosses. The first one, barely a fight, you just slash at it until it fucks off. The first one with King Arthur is meant to be piss easy, even if he is the main villain. Then there's the Knights of the Round Table, Lancelot, Gawain, and Percival, aka Shadow, Knuckles, and Blade. These fights just end up being mashing as much as you can until the other knight gives up, because they all have a guard that you have to break, so there's not really any strategy here, except for Lancelot, where if you're good enough, he will go down in 5 seconds like a little bitch.
The hedgehog, that's far too careless.
Like, legit, they made him the easiest fucking boss in gaming history. You and the other knights will lunge at each other at the same time. You'll go into this moment where you have to swing your sword at the right time to parry them until you get out of it, which will deal damage to them, but if you fuck it up, you get hit. Now, for whatever reason, with the Wiimote, I shit you not, these just end up being impossible. Like, I see the icon appear on the screen, I fucking do it. I swing my sword at the right time, it does fucking nothing. But for some reason on Dolphin Emulator with an Xbox controller, there's no issue. As I said, King Arthur is immortal and Sonic needs to figure out how to beat him. They go to the Lady of the Lake, who is portrayed by Amy, and she gives Sonic 3 tasks to complete. Defeat Knights of the Underworld, show compassion, and I forget the third. While doing this, Sonic finds a little girl crying, saying a dragon took our whole village, and going there to save the people is obviously the task to show compassion. And this girl was Amy, no shit, you could tell by the voice. But Sonic learns in order to beat King Arthur, he needs to get the sacred swords owned by the Knights of the Round Table, and combined he can win. When you're at this point, you've already beaten Lancelot and Gawain, so the next is Percival, played by Blaze, and she's fucking tough. She's fast, her sword is as long as my bellend, and if you ever try and get her in the air, she does this bullshit firing, like the little pussy she is. She takes a lot and is definitely the second hardest boss in the game. After this, it's time to face King Arthur, and I'd say an hour of gameplay have gotten us to this moment. This fight isn't the same as the first though. He has a lot of different attacks, but he'll shoot these red balls at you. They have to attack, which will hit him and fill your soul gauge. Once you have enough soul surge, you can lock onto him and fuck him up! Now, even with Caliburn telling me I could beat back his attacks, I never knew how to beat this fat fuck, and I never watched a YouTube playthrough either. So to me, I was stuck on this boss for God knows how long, because I never knew what to do. I would be stuck on this boss for the longest time when I was younger, because I just didn't know what to do. Thing is, this boss is pretty easy, and I've done it a lot of times when I was younger. I found it so fun to parry him all the fucking time. I don't know why. It was just, that part was just fun to me. I even remember his attack pattern at this point. When on the second phase, his first two swings are like normal speed, but the third one is way faster to catch you off guard. I'm disgusted that I still remember that. But after the fight, Sonic wins, and he straight up kills King Arthur, and then bam bam, the world is saved. Roll credits. What? That was it! So this game has a fake ending. However, the issue is with this one, they roll the long-ass credits, which is bullshit, because there's still at least 40 minutes of gameplay left. Story mode-wise, this game is just too short, which is sad, because I really do enjoy it, and I wish there was more. But what we got, there's a good amount, but I feel it's too little for this game, and it ends up being completely forgotten. Anyway, after his death, King Arthur disappears like any other knight of the underworld. Whoa! Back at the castle, the knights look like they are ready to kill Melina, except they don't have their fucking weapons, so God knows what they were planning to do. Until Sonic brings the scabbard and...
This scabbard, I can erase my grandfather's greatest mistake.
What?
I shall make this kingdom eternal.
You traitorous bitch! This was a fucking twist that very much caught me off guard. In Secret Ring, Sonic's companion for the game is someone called Shara, the genie of the ring. She's the one that brings Sonic into the book world and stays with him for the entire game, because she lives in the ring that's on his finger. You'd think from the start Melina's just going to be the next Shara, but Sonic's companion is Caliburn, aka his sword, that fucking talks, and is a better character than Infinite ever will be. Seriously, they made a sword an actual good character. I swear, if the Frontier story sucks dick, I'm going to kill myself. Melina wants to use the scabbard to make the kingdom immortal, though. This game's morals are a lot more unique for Sonic. Like other games, Sonic is always going to save the day. If someone's clearly doing a bad thing, Sonic's going to stop him, and that's, no question, a good thing to do. But in this world, even if King Arthur is evil, he's still the king, and Sonic would be killing the king. What he's doing is realistically the right thing, but he is actually technically the bad guy in this situation. And now Melina wants an immortal kingdom, but Sonic's going to stop her because he'd rather the world end one day? Okay, it ain't that deep. This kingdom would have been corrupted, absolutely. It was a good thing to stop Melina from doing what she was doing. King Arthur in this was an illusion created by Merlin and was apparently a mistake. Don't worry, King. We got that in common. Also, CG cutscene. One of the best moments in Sonic ever. The next load of levels have a time limit because there's only a matter of time before the kingdom is consumed and Sonic has to escape the castle that's falling apart. I love the tension created in this gameplay here. It's perfect, especially when you're outside and you see the castle. Honestly, that scared me when I was younger. The knights escape and Amy shows up and tells them they can form a barrier around the castle to stop Melina's magic from spreading. Sonic, who is clearly smuggling the swords up his arse. In fact, you know what? He smuggles everything up his arse. Either way, he gives them back to the knights. And I love this moment.
For the kingdom and its people!
For the kingdom and its people!
The knights have never not had a king to serve, but no matter what, they will defend their kingdom from anything because it's the right thing to do. And from this moment, all new areas you have access to, all the Knights of the Round Table can be played. So Shadow is playable. Sadly, this time he's not a Sonic clone though. Yeah, the Knights compared to Sonic, they all suck ass. But they're optional. Shadow's the most similar to Sonic, obviously. He can do the spin slash with a different animation. It's just not as fast as easy as Sonic. And his Soul Surge, he uses Chaos Control, or Chaos Punishment as he calls it, which is the exact same as Sonic's, but slower and with a different animation. Shadow's basically just Sonic, but slower. Then there's Knuckles. He has two swords, but will stop and stand still to attack, which is shit. Because it's not like the enemies actually come to attack you. Except these guys with the big, long, fuck-off spears. Now, this is the size of my bellend, by the way. And then there's Blaze. To me, she's the fucking worst. I imagine she's good if you master her, but why the fuck would you do that? Sonic is way better. The thing that pisses me off the most with Blaze is she has this little triple jump. Sonic and Shadow, you jump and then press the jump button again, they'll do a little dash or homing attack if there's an enemy near them. With Blaze, she has to do this little fancy backflip for some reason. It pisses me off because it gets me killed so many times when I'm trying to jump because I just forget it's a thing. Knuckles can glide, you have to hold the jump button, and for some reason, my dumbass didn't really know this back then, so every time I use Knuckles and realise he doesn't have a jump dash, I thought he was the worst one. Knuckles' Soul Surge, he throws his swords, it's fucking shit, I swear, and Blaze will use a Fire Tornado, that cheating bitch. The next 4 levels are all timed, and each knight needs to find barrier stones and activate them so Sonic can have his final battle with Melina, but not before fighting another dragon. Yeah, it's time for the final boss, and I fucking love this scene. It's another reason why I love this game so much. The music, the way Sonic looks at Melina and listens, and the action. Sonic believes a world that never ends is stupid, because life is all about living it to the fullest before it's over. Sonic also takes a beating in this scene, but what I love is how he just never gives up, even with the knights telling him to run away.
Sir Sonic, you've done enough!
No, Sonic! There is no point in continuing! A knight never flees his foe, right? Ah! You fool! This no longer has anything to do with chivalry! Get out of there! Run! It was never about chivalry for me. I just gotta do what I've gotta do. That's all.
Sonic is fearless and will never run away from doing the right thing. Caliburn even fucking dies in this scene, which was so sad. And this moment earned the right to be that sad, by the way. Not like when fucking classic Sonic disappears at the end of Forces. Cunt. No! this and you look at Sonic Forces, the difference and the impact, it's night and day. However, I'm still very confused on what triggers him to become Excalibur Sonic. All I know is the 3-second swords combined was part of it, but where the fuck does this light come from? It's bullshit, I swear. But yeah, this is good storytelling. But yeah, it's time for the final boss, and I used to say this was my favorite 3D Supersonic final boss until I redid it and realized how fucking easy it was. You have to parry this thing's giant swords to fill your soul gauge and unleash it. But if you do the perfect hit, the soul surge will last longer, meaning you do way more damage in the time you're given, and the boss ends up being so much quicker. Anyway, you beat it, and that's the game. This was Jason Griffith's final performance as Sonic, and we all agree he was, probably still is, the best voice actor for him. I mean, Ben Schwartz is the only other voice actor I've loved as much as Jason, and then the one for Sonic Prime looks like he's going to do an amazing job as well. Only time will tell on that, but I think he's going to fucking smash it. And there is post-game content as well. All Knights of the Round Table have extra swords that you can build by finding items and taking them to the blacksmith. And Sonic has 3 Knight Stars that you can level up to become better. One increases attack power, the other increases speed, and the other is like an all-round mode that you have from the start. The speed one is what I prefer though. And beating the game unlocks probably the hardest boss fight I have ever seen in any game. Because Lancelot is Shadow, and in the story he's the first you fight and goes down in 5 seconds, I think the developers knew this would piss off all the Shadow fans if they did that to him. Like, they make him look like he's weak as shit. Everyone that sucks off Shadow, they would have been fuming. So, when you beat Melina and beat the game, you can go back and fight Lancelot Returns, which is just the definition of AIDS. Can you just fuck off and die? To this day, I have never beaten this dickhead because I don't know how to. It's been 12 years. I've never beaten him. Someone please help me. And yeah, that's Sonic and the Black Knight. I didn't cover each and every single little detail about the game. I'm not a reviews channel. I just talk about shit I want to. And goddamn, I wanted to talk about this game. It was great. And if you played it, please let me know what you thought of it. I have no clue if people consider this bad just because it's Sonic with a sword. I hope people aren't like that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And until the next one, have a good one, lads.